I'm okay. I still
right.
have video working on this thing for some reason.
Yeah, it's okay. I can understand. I can hear you well. Mr. Stanziale, you're in the session too, correct?
I am, Judge.
All right. Mr. Stanziale has notified me that the officer is supposed to testify for probable cause is out ill. So he's not going to be able to proceed with that today. I wanted to get you ahead of time, and I'm going to entertain adjournment request. And we'll set it up again at a time that's mutually convenient to Mr. Cubby and the state, okay?
Well, I understand why we would do it that way, and I'm not saying that that's not basically the court's best option at this point, but obviously the regular objectives stand at this point objections stand at this point as to why we're still here at this point and why we're doing it.
You asked for the probable cause hearing. You're entitled to. I'm going to give it to you, of course.
Well, I understand that, but in the interim, the prosecution has said that they're ready to move forward after admitting that they haven't even looked at the surveillance video on this thing. They said last time that we were here, they were ready to move forward with this thing. I can't understand how any prosecutor could actually rationally claim to be ready to move forward if they hadn't, in fact, seen the video.
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to try to prosecute. I'm not going to tell the prosecutor to try his case. I'm not going to tell you how to try your case. If the prosecutor thinks he can proceed without the video and something happens, then I'll make that ruling at the time. But I'm not going to tell the prosecutor or you how to try your case.
Well, it's not necessarily an issue of him needing to proceed with the video. It's the fact that there's 8 seconds of footage missing from the video from a crucial time period and when things should be happening in that video. And the prosecution is refusing to acknowledge that or do anything about it, as it's done before Mr. Stanziale was involved here. His predecessors refused to deal with it, and the other courts refused to deal with it. And they've kicked this thing out for 15 months while refusing to deal with this situation.
I agree that it's been around for a long time, and I'm very upset about that. And it's been cause of both the state and of Mr. Cubby. We had a problem with Mr. Judge Segreto, I believe it was, with regard to you representing some firm or some organization that he was
representing someone.
That's a conflict. So that's why I took it. I want to get this closure. One way or the other, it's going to go to closure. Mr. Stanziale, you have any comments to make with regard to Mr. Cubby's assertion that there's video missing here?
Judge, I indicated that I'd have to have the prosecutor testify to authenticate, and that's how the state's going to proceed as to that. With respect to the request, I just want to know.
I can't hear Mr. Stanziale. There's some background
somebody
recording.
Hold on. Mr. Davenport, could you please mute your microphone?
I'm sorry, Judge. Hello?
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Stanziale.
I'll repeat it so it's clear. With regard to the video, Judge, I received Mr. Cubby's email. I indicated to him he can have a hearing with respect to the authentication of it. I have to get the store owner and put him on the stand to testify as to it, and the court will have to make a determination as to the authenticity of it for admissibility. I just
Mr. Cubby bringing up objections, I gather, to the authenticity and to certain portions, and I'll make a decision, Mr. Cubby, at the time I hear it. I don't know anything about it. I don't do anything about this tape other than it's a tape recording, a video of something that occurred. So when I get that, I'll review it, and if I think that, you make your argument, and I'll take it from there, that's for sure.
Well, it's not a suppression argument. The issue is that this evidence obviously has already been tampered with. The portions that are missing would have been completely exonerating to me, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, you don't have to, rely on my representation.
Well, you make that argument, and I'll decide whether this tape is admissible or not.
Well, I mean, it helps me one way or the other. That's why I'm saying it's not an admissibility issue.
Okay. All right.
The fact of the matter is that he's trying to move forward with a case where we have obvious collusion to spoliate evidence. I mean, the actual collusion reports themselves are conflicting.
That's your argument, and that's your argument. I'm gonna listen to your argument, and I'm listen to Mr. Stanziale and make a decision. Well, right now, here's the point. We have to get with the probable cause hearing. I want to hear that. I want to hear the officer who signs the complaints, what he has to say. Okay? And I'll make a determination at that point. Then after that, we will deal with the other issues as they appear. but I want to take it one step at a time, and I don't want to keep you hanging around. So what was this scheduled for? 5:30?
Something like that, I believe.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you hanging around. I'm gonna grant the state's adjournment. We're gonna set it up for another date that's mutually convenient for both of you. And I want to get this matter into the court, and I want to hear testimony. I want to see what's going to happen, and I'll take it from there. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Cubby. Mr. Stanziale, thank you too. And we'll schedule that as soon as possible. Okay, please.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Cubby, for coming in.
Thank you.
You know, Cubby relapsed, obviously. I don't need to tell you that.
Right. All right. What's the next matter we have here?